So this next story is a listener submitted story. You can submit your own story to thestrangeparanormal@gmail.com and we will read it on the air. You could also call in to 913-535-6322, which is a new number. The old number for Ectoplasm Show is no longer available. But if you call in with this number, you can leave a voicemail telling your story or anything else you want, and we'll play it on the show too, as long as it's friendly, so to speak. Here is that submitted story. I'm a believer. My ghost story. Growing up in the 1970s, my parents hired a maid. This was common. Black women took the bus to the suburbs, donning white maid uniforms to work for upper middle class white families. Becky had been with us since the early 1960s. She worked for my grandparents too. I often saw my grandfather waiting for Becky at the bus stop as I rode to school. Becky was truly part of our family. She worked for my grandparents 2 days a week and for us 2 days a week. I was a bit jealous of her third family, though I didn't know them. But Becky felt like she belonged to me. My name is Rebecca, but I'm always called Rebecca to avoid confusion with our Becky. She was a kind soul. Becky always left candy under our pillows, cleaned our rooms, and neatly stacked any coins or bills she found in our clothes. At Christmas, she gave us gifts. She was sweet and thoughtful, truly loving us. During vacations, Becky and her adult nieces, Linda and Sylvia, babysat us. One day, my mother took us to Becky's apartment downtown. It was nice in a safe building. She lived on a high floor. What struck me was that she had every school photo of me and my sisters framed on her wall. We were truly her family. When my parents separated when I was 14, Becky comforted my despondent mother. It was hard for her, as she had been through a similar experience with her husband when her husband left her. Becky became our rock, keeping our home running twice a week. Then tragedy struck in 1980. We returned from summer camp to find Becky had passed away from a stroke. She died in our home, a place she spent more time than with her real family. We weren't allowed to see her in the hospital, but we felt like family. My mother started going out trying to meet men. I had to babysit my little sister every weekend. While alone, I heard noises upstairs. I told my mother, but she didn't believe me. One night, when my father was visiting, we heard a weird wailing. Dad investigated the attic but found nothing. After they split up for good, I still heard footsteps when alone in the house. Years later, when I moved back in with my mother after separating from my husband, my boyfriend heard footsteps. I believed it was Becky watching over us. One evening, my boyfriend saw a woman in a pink sweater, just like Becky used to wear. My mother finally believed me. At Becky's funeral, my father, grandmother, and sisters attended, but my mother didn't. Everyone there thought I was named after Becky, though I was actually named after a character from Tom Sawyer. But letting them believe it made them happy. They told me how much Becky loved us. It was nice to hear. So there's that submitted
Imagine,
story.
imagine that, man. Imagine seeing or somebody, who never met this person. Imagine them seeing and describing to you in detail what this person looked like who walked by them. Uh,
Yeah.
they've never met him, but like to it, that's crazy.
Yeah. That's a
Crazy.
great submitted story. If, like I said before this, if you have a submitted story you'd like us to read on the air, just email us or call it in.